Lynette is something else. Girl, talking about you can buy my furniture too. Hey y'all, hey, it's Toya Creates, and welcome to the next episode of the Deep Dive. And today we are talking about Beyond the Gates, Tuesday, April 14th. So, if you are new here, I am just starting to do deep dives of my favorite soaps that I watch every day. So let's just get into it. I got my little notes ready because Beyond the Gates has a lot of storylines going. So first, I have Randy and Lynette. Oh my goodness. Lynette is something else. So, Lynette and Haley used to run licks on people back in the day, and she's back in town, and she's basically blackmailing Haley. So she's getting close to figuring out what Randy and Haley are really up to, and what they're up to is trying to run the ultimate lick on Bill, where they murder him and get his $10 million insurance payout. Okay. So Lynette is hot on their heels, and Randy told Haley he was gonna basically handle Lynette. And so they meet up at Uptown, and Randy basically gives Lynette this story about how Haley thinks she can run me and she's bossing me around and she doesn't respect me, and so I'm mad at Haley. And now me and you, Lynette, we're gonna work together and we're gonna take this money from Haley. So Lynette is leery at first, but then it looks like to me she was like, she started to believe Randy's story, and she's all in because she's like, Haley has always been arrogant and this and that, and let's run this lick on her. Oh my goodness. So they're still chatting at Uptown and doing their little flirting that they do and just figuring out how they're gonna one up Haley. So then Chelsea and Naomi happen to come into Uptown because Chelsea just wants to take her sister out for breakfast to thank her for taking on Madison's malpractice case. And Chelsea is just checking up on Naomi because she's having a hard time with Jacob being gone on his training, but we really know he's undercover. But so Randy peeps Chelsea and Naomi in Uptown, and he tells Lynette we have company, so they are able to sneak out. We don't know how they snuck out, but they got out undetected. So then we see them getting physical because this is also part of Randy's little schemes and trickery to get Lynette. You know. Anyway, so they're done doing what they do, and Randy's just gassing her up like, you should text Haley and tell her that you need the down payment on this penthouse, and she can buy furniture. I was like, I know Haley. If I were Haley, and Randy, I would have went right to Joey and Marcel and been like, I got another job for you, because, no, I'm sorry. If I'm Randy and Haley, we have put too much effort into this scheme for this heifer to come in the ninth hour and blow things up. She would be sleeping with the fishes. She would be wherever that little racist man was last year that Marcel took out. That's me. But whatever. So she sent this text, and Haley's just taking it. And then we see oh God, I'm just so tickled by this. Lynette was like, after a while, I can't believe Haley has not answered me. Girl, what? So then they talk about, we're gonna go over to Tyson's gallery. I'm like, If you know, you know. That's my area. So I'm like, I know exactly where you're going. But she's like, we could go to Tyson's and da da da, just talk about what they're gonna do with this money. And Randy, old slick self, he managed to get Lynette's purse right in front of her face, take her cell phone out, slide it in his pocket, and put her purse back as if he didn't do anything. So that's where we left off with that portion of the story. Lynette is crazy. I think she needs to be offed, but whatever. So then, while this is happening, Haley is at home with Bill, and Bill is getting wise. Finally, he was like, basically, he wanted to know what Lynette has over Haley to explain why you are doing so much for this woman, because he was like, it goes beyond just help at this point, and he already knows about this penthouse. He's already heard about it. He told Haley straight up, if you think I'm paying for this penthouse, the answer is no. Why does Haley try to flip this? Oh, it's such a great investment. Just like we're gonna have a house in St. Bart's, and we could use this, for investment property. We could rent it out, or maybe Chelsea and Madison. Bill is like, no, okay. The black card is closed. The door is closed, and I agree. What does she think this is? So, she relents because Bill, for once, put his foot down and did not waver, because I don't know what kind of kitty Haley got, but it is kryptonite. Because Bill has lost his natural mind over this girl. It's so obvious that she is playing him, but he can't see it. Anyways, so she's like, fine, I listened to what you said and blah, blah, blah. So he's on his way out to court, and she has given him another dose in his coffee. Poison. Still poisoning the man. Okay, he's strong as a horse, because he's only gone down once off of this poison, and that's only when she hiked up the dose. But now she's back to micro-dosing him, and she gives him his little coffee, and he goes on about his business. Okay. So next we saw Nicole meeting up with Smitty, because, in my opinion, she knows that Smitty was the one who hacked her computer. Even though she did not ask him outright, she's fishing around for information as far as I am concerned. And Smitty just plays it off by saying, he stopped by her office the other day to talk about cotillion stuff, because he and Martin have been busy and they've missed some things. And they also just talked very briefly about his investigative job that he's on, because while Nicole was at Smitty's house visiting, he kept getting text messages from Jacob, aka Rashad, and Nicole was like, oh, what's going on with your new story? And if those notifications are any indication, this is a serious case. And Smitty's just like, yeah, it's serious, whatever. So they get interrupted, because today was the day that Anita needed to go to the oncologist to see if her chemo treatments have been successful so far. So it's Vernon, Anita at the estate, and Danny just happens to stop by. And so at that point, Anita and Vernon are able to talk to her about what's going on. And Anita takes this time to have a private conversation with Danny, because we know Danny, unfortunately, has the BRCA gene, which means she's at higher risk to develop this triple negative breast cancer later on down the line. And so Anita just talked to her. She just wanted to let her know, or just advise her, if God forbid this happens to you, these are the things you should look out for. Don't let doctors just blow you off, because as we know, this is Something that happens a lot in the Black community, specifically Black women. A lot of the times we go to the hospital or the doctors and we're not listened to, we're not taken seriously, or people just think we have a high tolerance for pain, etc., etc., etc. So that was a good conversation. It's one of those real life moments that I really like on this soap, and it's definitely for us, and I love that. So Anita and Danny are having that conversation, and Anita tells Vernon to call Nicole because she wants both girls there at the estate. And so that is why Nicole and Smitty got interrupted, because Vernon called and he asked Nicole to come over. So Nicole goes over and they are all talking at this point. It's Vernon, Anita, Danny, and Nicole. They're just talking about the latest in this oncology appointment. And they also offer to go with Anita and Vernon to the hospital to get the results together. And so that is what they do. So then, let's see. We've already talked about Bill. That was crazy. Chelsea, Naomi. Yes. I'm just going down my little list. Crazy. So then, yeah. They go to the hospital. Anita is bracing, because a couple of weeks ago, Anita was ready to give up on life because she thought she was having like a horrible reaction to the chemo and the cancer, but it was really an infection that caused all of this pain and all of this turmoil. But thankfully, they figured that out. They mended her, and she's back to basically her normal self, so to speak. But the oncologist comes in, and it's just Vernon and Anita in the exam room, and we are happy to report that the chemo treatments are working. The cancer has shrunk, and she should be eligible for a lumpectomy, and she only has 2 more rounds of chemo to go. So that was really nice to see, because, I mean, of course I didn't think they were going to kill the matriarch off in the first season, but it was a roller coaster, okay? Like I said, Beyond the Gates does a really good job of presenting real life things. And so they did a really good job, in my opinion, chronicling Anita's journey with discovering the cancer, the BRCA gene element, because I didn't even know that was a thing. So I learned about that. And then we got to see her go through the treatment. We got to see how it impacted the family, like the ripple effect through the entire family, even the town. So I think they do that very well. So I'm happy that Auntie Anita is on the mend, and everyone was very happy about that news. So then, let's see, the other thing that we saw, oh my God, Rashad, aka Jacob. So, Jacob is undercover for this impaler plasma ring situation, which I'm ready for that to be over, but anyways. Oh, and before I forget, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this type of content, but let's keep going. So this impaler ring thing has been going on for a long time, and Jacob is undercover, and Smitty is helping with the case because he, I believe, originally brought the lead to Jacob. So whatever. Smitty has recently hacked into Nicole's computer to get into some patient or staff files so he can figure out which female at Garland Memorial is working with this impaler. So Jacob is out on the block, and he gets a phone call from Elon. That's his father. He's the chief of staff. And Elon tells Jacob that there was basically a hacking breach at the hospital, and that Marcel is looking into it confidentially because, they don't want to blow Jacob's cover. They don't want to blow this case. And so Elon passes on this little nugget. So Jacob immediately knows that it's Smitty's fault. So he calls Smitty. Like I said earlier, Smitty was getting these messages while he was talking to Nicole, and it was Jacob. So he goes out in his little horrible look. This is his That's his undercover. A hoodie. Anyways, he goes out to meet Jacob, and Jacob is mad at Smitty, okay? He was like, Smitty, you're being reckless. And Smitty's like, I wasn't called. Da, 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 da. And Jacob's like, oh, you weren't? Then why did my daddy call me and tell me there was a breach and that Marcel's looking into it now? And da 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 da. And then Jacob was like, I'm the cop. I have the authority. I'm in charge. And there's no more going rogue for you, Smitty. And Smitty just, he just takes it. Because what can he do? He did mess up. He did. But, yeah, I personally, again, am ready for this storyline to be over. We already know that Leah is the person at the hospital that they are looking for. Now, I don't know if she's just the scheduler or if she is like the head honcho here, but she's definitely involved. But anyways, and I'm just ready for it to come out. I'm ready to see what's going to happen next. Let's get to it. So, that was basically it on that. And then Chelsea and Naomi caught up, like I said, thanking her for taking on Madison's case because of her crazy mama. And Chelsea just wants to check in on Naomi because of the whole Jacob being gone situation. And she just wants to check in. So they do that. And then Naomi starts talking about how she is looking forward to working with Bill on Madison's case. Former her or child Naomi this would have been a dream of hers to work with her father because she kind of idolized him, and she is an attorney because of following in his footsteps. So she's like, oh, it's like a childhood dream realized, and I can keep an eye on Haley because Naomi is already onto Haley. She's already threatened to expose the fact that she lied about that ultrasound last year. Even though, let's talk about that real quick. Naomi, why don't you just tell your daddy what's going on? Like, we could have been rid of Haley a while ago. But why are you, I don't understand this cat and mouse game. I mean, out of all the people, Haley crossed Naomi just as much as Danny. Because Haley pretended to be Naomi's bestie, but she was just really moving in on her daddy. So, I don't understand why Naomi has not told anybody this secret yet. Maybe it's because Ashley revealed it and that's a HIPAA violation, kind of, sort of. But whatever. So, that was basically it. We're going to see what happens today with this drugging that's still going on. Since Bill is on his way to the courthouse and he has the poison in his coffee, we don't know if he's going to have a reaction today or not. We will see what is going on with Lynette and this hustle, and if she's really going to get this advance and furniture for this penthouse, which I doubt highly. And, let's see what goes on with this impaler case. Let's get it over with. So until then, I will see you next time. Like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next.